Thank you for tuning in to this transformational presentation provided by Karlene Millwood International and KarleneMillwood.com. We empower you to tap into your leadership potential and soar to new levels of greatness. We hope you'll be inspired to step into the change you need. It's your time to win. Now listen and be inspired. Hello, everyone, and welcome to part 2 of The Essence of Leadership. I am so glad that you could join me again this evening, and I hope you're ready to take some more notes. We can make the session as interactive as you'd like, or it could just be me sitting here talking to you, but I would much prefer interaction. How about you? Anyways, so, I would prefer interaction. So here's what I'm going to suggest, that if you have questions or you have comments, that you drop them in the chat as we go along. All right. Now, before I start tonight's presentation, I want to do a quick recap from last week. I gave you my favorite definition of leadership from Dr. Miles Monroe, which states that leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, generated by a passion, motivated by a vision that was birthed by a conviction, and produced by a purpose. Now, I know that's quite the mouthful, but it is my favorite definition of leadership because it touches on some really important things for me: inspiration, passion, vision, conviction, and purpose. Now, if you want to know why those are so important to me and why I think this is one of my favorite definitions of leadership, you're going to have to go back to the YouTube channel after this and tune in to part 1 of the presentation. All right. Now, I also shared some different types of leadership with you, even though I didn't go into them in detail. I cover those in my leadership training program. So if you're interested in learning more, sign up for one of the courses coming up in the new year. So stay tuned for that. If you're on my mailing list, I'll be sending it out in advance so that everyone will be aware and you'll have the opportunity to sign up as well. All right? Excellent. I also gave you several key characteristics that are synonymous with the essence of leadership. If you weren't present, I suggest you go back to watch part 1 so you're getting the full picture. And I spent some time talking about the importance of self-awareness in leadership. Man, I can't stress that enough. Self-awareness is huge in leadership. And if you're already in the leadership position, you know that. All right. So it's important for us to continue to grow in self-awareness. I went into detail about that in part 1. So check it out as soon as you can. Tonight, I want to do a deeper dive on the topic. What is the essence of leadership? The word essence denotes the inward nature or true substance of a thing. So what is the inward nature of a leader? That's a very important question. What is the inward nature of a leader? Here is what I look for in my leaders and what I develop or try to develop within my own self. Leaders have strong values and are guided by a set of principles which they are not willing to compromise. I touched on some of those values last week, so I encourage you to revisit or listen to part 1 again, or listen to it anew if you didn't tune in from last week, if you weren't present in that session. They are willing to pay the price to achieve their goals. It doesn't matter what you do to them, they will not waver or be distracted in their mission. I believe that, if I'm not mistaken, I mentioned Nelson Mandela, or maybe it was But if not, I'll mention it here again. Nelson Mandela, to me, was one of those leaders that would not compromise his values. As we know, Nelson Mandela spent 27 years of his life in prison, and he was given different options and different offers to actually leave prison earlier than that 27 years. But he decided, no, I'm here because I want to see the freedom of my people from apartheid, and I will not leave here unless that is what we're accomplishing. So no matter what the deal they were offering him, he wouldn't leave unless it was to do with the freedom of his people. So this is what I'm talking about. They're willing to pay the price, and he paid the price with 27 years of his life. He lost 27 years of his life because he believed so strongly in his mission. He had a purpose, and he believed so very strongly in it that he was willing to give up 27 years of his life. Now, leaders, these type of leaders, the essence of leadership, they have honor. They honor others, and they are honored themselves. They treat people with respect and are more interested in their potential than in their past or in their current mistakes. They look at your potential and not so much at your performance. That's what I'm talking about. Surely they will guide you along the way to improve your performance, but they will not use that to write you off if you're not performing at a level that you want to or that they think you should be. They will mentor you to get to that place. So this is what I'm talking about. They look at your potential instead of your past or your current mistakes or your shortcomings. True leaders possess these three qualities for me. They are protectors. And what do I mean by that? They defend or support their followers when they are wrongly accused, when they hit a snag, if they're in a difficult situation. They will come right up to you and stand with you and support you. They make sure their teams have the proper resources to do their jobs or perform in their, what do I want to say, assignments. They perform in their assignments. So they're providers in that way. Different people provide in different ways, but great leaders in organizations make sure you have the resources you need to do what you need to get done. And they also make sure that their followers and supporters are on track to achieve their goals. Because remember, I said last week that leaders are taking you somewhere, right? They're taking you to a destination based on the vision that they have for their organization or their life or whatever their project is. There is an end destination. And if you choose to align yourself with them, you're on that journey to that destination with them. So they make sure that their followers and supporters are on track to achieve the goals that are in alignment with that vision, with their followers' vision, and everybody's heading in the same direction. Right? I think I said last week that the greatest need in the world is true leadership. Leadership seems to be lacking, right? In so many spheres of society. And you can find it. In some of the cases, it is so weak or it is poor leadership. And I'm not being negative. I'm not being negative at all. All you have to do is just look at what's happening in the world around us right now, right? Just look at our political landscape, especially what's happening with this so-called pandemic. Are governments adequately addressing the challenge, you think? I believe some of them are, and some of them are falling short. Does the population know the truth about what's really happening? I don't think so. There are so many different thought processes out there that nowadays people are not sure what to believe anymore. Are we being fed stories to placate us, right? Are there really that many instances of COVID-19 as we're told? What is your take on the situation? Now, if you ask most people, you will get a different answer from probably all of them because they don't know what to believe. How can there be such confusion if there is good, strong leadership at the helm? That's the question. The essence of leadership is to realize that people are your most valuable assets. And when you realize that you will actually treat them in that manner. You're not going to be treating them as an afterthought, and you're not definitely not going to be oppressing them. When you realize that the people you are leading are your most valuable assets and that they are giving you the privilege to lead them, then you will treat them accordingly, because leadership is a privilege and not a right. Too many people believe that because they're in a leadership position, they have the right to be there. Someone decided to trust you and put you in that position, right? And you don't have to lead people to be a leader. I'm not saying that at all. But if you're in any position of leadership, people are going to be following you and following what you do to some degree. It's a privilege that they're affording you, not a right because you decided to step into that space. So remember that, right? And so every time we think about that and that we're affecting people with our lives and our decisions and the things that we do and the things that we say, it should help us to, bring ourselves down to a place of humility. Now, humility doesn't mean being a doormat. It just means being humble, just thinking more of the people around you and a little bit, less of yourself. That's what I mean by that. So the big discussion around the globe right now is diversity and inclusion. And when you look around, you see so many organizations hiring or appointing people of color to take prominent positions. The question is, why did it take so long? And why did it have to take something like a George Floyd situation for it to happen? Is the essence of leadership at play where only certain people hold certain positions because of the color of their skin? Absolutely not. But at the same time, simply putting a person of color in a position does not mean you have a truly inclusive organization or team. It takes more than that. It takes more than shifting bodies around to bring about lasting change. There has to be accountability. And there has to be a shift in your mindset at all levels of the organization. It's not a blend of skin colors. At least I don't think it's a blend of skin colors that create diversity alone. Surely to some effect, yes. Physically, visibly, it does create that diversity. But unless you're encouraging and inviting different perspectives and skills and experiences to contribute to your decision-making processes, only then are you creating a truly inclusive environment. Now, when leaders loosen their grip on the reins and empower their followers to make creative and innovative decisions, diversity and inclusion is truly active. It was Albert Einstein who said, "Innovation is creativity at play." I like the sound of that because I'm a really creative person and I like the idea of me playing, You can't work all the time. You have to play sometimes. So I like that just because of the play part of it. Now, give your followers the space to create and listen to what they have to say. That's the essence of progressive leadership. I can't even stress that enough. That's the essence of progressive leadership. Now, should I not? I'm going to share I'm going to share this with you. I once worked in an organization where the manager was so intimidated by my intellect that it seems at times that, they wanted me to literally write out every thought in my head before speaking at a meeting. And in that environment, I felt really stifled. My voice was so stifled that I couldn't even host a meeting on my own. Now, that is not the essence of true leadership. That's an anomaly to what true leadership is, right? Bad leaders will oppress their followers, and it's because of their own shortcomings. Now, that doesn't speak of the essence of true leadership at all. That type of leadership is not whole. I believe I talked about whole as a part of integrity last time. That type of leadership is not whole and, should not be leading anyone until they've done some serious personal development. That type of leader damages their followers' self-concept and causes stress and mental health issues in their followers. It would take someone with a healthy and strong self-perception to walk away unscathed from a situation like that. I discussed this principle of self-perception in my latest book, Self-Perception in Gender Inequities and Career Advancement for Minority Women. It's currently available on Amazon in both paperback and Kindle format. So, you can pick up a copy to see what I'm talking about. It has some groundbreaking information in it. So I would suggest you go out and grab yourself one. So here's the big question for you. Can you identify any areas within your life, within your organization, where you identify systemic practices of racism? Think about that for a minute. Is there any place within you, within your business, or within an organization that you're a part of, where you can identify systemic practices of racism? And what does this have to do with the essence of leadership? Well, the essence of leadership ensures diverse perspectives. So if you can find anywhere there are systemic practices of racism, then you're going to have to now step up to the plate and start figuring out ways, strategizing ways to tear it apart. The only way to dismantle it is to call it what it is. And while it may take some time to completely eradicate it, if you start by encouraging open dialogue and creating opportunities for everyone to feel heard and valued, then you've really taken a step in the right direction. At the very basic, the essence of leadership requires that a leader be aware of the mental and emotional states and the needs of their followers and support them in their career aspiration goals. Every leader should possess these key competencies. They set direction, they're a role model or a mentor, they're effective communicators, they bring out the best in others, they're proactive, they're decisive, especially in crises, and they develop intellectual capital. Now, whether it is their own intellectual capital or they are directing their followers to do so, but there is development and creation happening. Creativity and development, innovation is happening. And a true leader will always be innovating and creating and pushing the organization, pushing their followers, pushing themselves forward. And that's the whole point of leadership, is to, to move humanity forward to a destination, right? So where are you? Where are you on this leadership spectrum? Can you identify yourself in any of the attributes I've listed so far? Where do you need to grow more? I'd be interested to know, because one of our high impact courses or our mentorship program may be right for you. My intention is to help leaders become the best they can be in their positions. So please reach out if you need some assistance. It is my joy to help. So my final thought for this evening, yes, this is a really short, quick, and powerful one. The essence of leadership is to empower, educate, create, develop, and mentor. This is how you develop and show value to the people who follow you. That's the true essence of leadership. Thank you for listening tonight. And I so look forward to doing this again. Stay tuned for my next live presentation. I will certainly be letting you know, and keep following me on my social media pages. I like interacting with you. I'd love to see some more interaction on Karlene Millwood International though. I know you guys are reading it, because I can tell the number of people that are reading the posts. I just need you to start commenting and interacting a little bit more. Thank you for reading it though. It's important that I add that. Thank you for reading the post. I just need you to interact a little more, okay? I'm there. Respond, send me a message. I want to hear from you.